Hi there, Hans from Siegecraft Electronics here, and the more astute of you might notice on my roller games right behind me here, the display is dead. So we're going to go through that today, replace the display with a new unit, and show you how to go about doing that in your own System 11 machine. Now, ironically, in the time that it took me to move my lights around, move my camera, and get set up for this, display, as you can see, has actually started working. It's been kind of the symptoms of this particular game for a while now. It takes about 10-15 minutes for the display to come up to speed and start fully showing itself as it should be. I suspect the issue is actually in the high voltage circuit on the power supply board rather than in the plasma display itself. But because this is an original plasma display in this unit, you can start seeing some signs of age in it. Some of the corners on these segments are a little brighter than they should be. There is some shadowing as well. And with the high voltage section on its way out, it's sort of a double whammy in the work I need to do. So in this case, I'm going to be replacing the display instead of original plasma, but I'm going to use an LED display. This particular one's made by Wolfpack Designs. The first one I've used from them. They have a pretty extensive lineup of displays. I'll be doing a more in-depth review in the future of both this and also another set for my System 7 Black Knight as well. But in the time being, I'm going to shut the power off here and get reset to take the back glass out, lower down the speaker panel, and get better access to the display. Now, most of you have probably already removed a back glass from a System 11 or a WPC machine before, but if you haven't, I'll go over it really quickly. Most machines are actually going to have a small padlock up in here, used to keep it safe for security purposes when these things were out in arcades or en route. My machine does not actually have a key present, but if yours does, typically the key itself is going to be stored on the inside of your coin door on a little hook just inside for convenient access. And typically this key will be different than the one that actually opens your coin door. But once you get your lock unlocked, the back glass will simply lift up. Now do be careful with this, especially for older machines. Like this one's a little bit crooked, a little hard to reach. Sometimes your lifting rail can break. You do want to keep kind of control on this because these are a lot of times glass. So you should gently lift out, and then we're going to go out and set this on something soft to protect it while we're working. With the back glass out, you can see I've laid a towel down here on top of the machine. This is both to protect the playfield glass from any scratches and also protect the front of your speaker panel from any scratches. Typically, it also helps you to keep it from sliding down because, well, they can slide and it can get kind of awkward as you're working on things. Now, to remove the speaker panel, you're simply going to lift up. Everything will come free. Bring it forward a little bit and tilt down. One thing you'll notice is that the speaker panel is loose from the machine other than any connected wiring. There's no hinges or anything on this generation of machine, so you do need to make sure to keep everything under control and kind of make sure you're set up ahead of time to be ready to put this down, because otherwise it will get a little awkward for you. Now, with the speaker panel down, everything exposed, we can start going ahead to remove the original display. As you'll see, there's just a couple of screws and a couple of wires on there that you need to have. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll actually go ahead and I'll take a picture of those wiring connections just to make sure when I go to put it back together, I have everything where it needs to be. These are our standard Molex connectors, so they're just going to pull straight out on the edge. Now, given the age of these machines, you do want to be careful. Make sure you're not cracking any of these, and you may or may not need to have replacement connectors on hand. But they should come off fairly easily. And also at this point, you can kind of inspect for any damage or any heat issues that might have happened on these connectors, particularly along the voltage, the higher, the voltage supply connector. Now, in some games, you may be able to pull the speaker panel somewhere else, but on this one there is a couple of light panels as well as the speakers, so speaker panel needs to stay in place, and then you have 4 Phillips head screws that you'd use to remove the actual display from the game. And with the screws removed, the display will lift clear, and you're free to install the new one in its place. Now, one thing to keep in mind is also keep an eye on what hardware you may need to reuse. For instance, on this particular display, there are 4 nylon spacers that are not included with the Wolfpack display, so I will need to remove these and reuse them with the new display. Now, I actually cheated a little bit. Instead of pulling off the original spacers, 3D printed a few, so I'm going to use those instead and install the new display exactly as the old one came out. Now I can go ahead and reinstall the connectors. And typically Williams was very good with their wire harness layout as well as their keying pins. So as far as getting the connectors in the right spots, it should be pretty easy for you here. Everything's installed. Speaker panel can go back up into the machine. One thing to remember with Williams speaker panels is you need to make sure to hold your artwork in place, as it does just hang loose on the bottom side. With the display in place, now we can power it up and see how it looks. Lights up well on the first try. While I get the back box open, I am going to replace my batteries with some new ones since it's a bit overdue. Put the back glass on and off we go. There you go, some new batteries in the back box to keep away any leakage issues, and a new display installed from start to finish. As you can see, I did opt for a white LED display in this case. I kind of felt the original plasma orange blended in too well with the artwork on the back box. So hopefully the white will give it a little more pop and kind of help it stand out a little bit more during play. That is one of the nice things about LED displays, is that you have a lot of color options out there. Red, orange, blue, green, white are some of the common ones that you'll see. Hopefully this has installed some confidence in you that you'll be able to do this kind of work yourself, keep your own machines going. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.